When we think of ancient humans, we often imagine something primitive, cave dwellers grunting over fires, fumbling with rocks, barely surviving in a harsh world. But what if that picture is completely wrong? New discoveries are revealing that our ancestors, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years ago, were far smarter, more creative, and more capable than we ever imagined. From building complex tools and creating art to navigating oceans and mastering fire, the evidence is clear. Ancient humans weren't dumb brutes. They were ingenious survivors, and in many ways, not so different from us. For much of the 20th century, scientists told a simple story of human progress. We began as applied creatures, slowly becoming more intelligent, until we finally reached the modern human form. But that neat ladder of evolution is crumbling. Discoveries from Africa, Europe, and Asia reveal that ancient humans, including Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and Denisovans, were using technology and showing intelligence far earlier than anyone believed. Take Homo erectus, for example. Nearly 2 million years ago, they invented the Acheulean hand axe, a beautifully symmetrical stone tool shaped with precision and skill. These weren't random flakes chipped by instinct. They were carefully planned designs, shaped with spatial awareness and patience. Some are so perfect that modern archaeologists struggle to reproduce them with the same balance and sharpness. That's not primitive, that's genius. One of humanity's greatest achievements was mastering fire, and for a long time it was thought that only Homo sapiens had that skill. But deep in Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, scientists found ashes and burned bones nearly 1 million years old, long before modern humans appeared. Those traces belonged to Homo erectus. This means our ancient ancestors weren't just discovering fire, they were controlling it. They used it to cook food, to stay warm, and to keep predators at bay. Cooking made food softer, easier to digest, and more energy-rich fuel that may have helped their brains grow larger. Fire wasn't just survival, it was civilization's spark. To tend a fire, to feed it and protect it from wind, takes understanding, patience, and foresight, qualities that show a deep awareness of cause and effect. Few ancient species have been as misunderstood as the Neanderthals. For generations, they were portrayed as brutish cavemen, stooped, slow, and dull. But modern science paints a very different picture. Neanderthals made tools, built shelters, and wore clothing sewn from animal hides. They used fire, created pigment-based paints, and buried their dead with care, sometimes with flowers or objects placed beside the body, gestures that suggest emotion, even belief. In caves in Spain and France, researchers found paintings more than 60,000 years old, made before modern humans ever arrived. The artists were Neanderthals. They mixed pigments, used symbolic shapes, and perhaps even told stories on the walls. Their DNA also lives on within us. Most people of non-African ancestry still carry 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. Creativity, craftsmanship, curiosity, it's all part of our shared inheritance. Even more mysterious are the Denisovans, a human species discovered not through skeletons, but through tiny fragments of DNA in a fingerbone found in Siberia's Denisova cave. We still don't know exactly what they looked like, but their impact was enormous. Denisovans built tools, used fire, and spread across Asia. Genetic studies revealed that they interbred with both Neanderthals and modern humans, passing on traits that helped people adapt to extreme environments. The Tibetan ability to live at high altitudes, breathing comfortably where oxygen is thin, comes from a Denisovan gene called EPase1. An ancient species we didn't even know existed until 2010 has literally shaped our biology. Far from being primitive, they were brilliantly adaptive. We often imagine early humans as land-bound wanderers, but the evidence shows they were also sailors. More than 65,000 years ago, ancient humans crossed open ocean to reach Australia, long before maps or compasses. To do that, they had to build boats, understand currents, and plan long voyages, not by accident, but by design. On islands of Indonesia, even older sites show that Homo floresiensis, the so-called hobbit humans, may have arrived hundreds of thousands of years ago. That means multiple human species, not just ours, mastered seafaring. They weren't lost drifters, they were explorers. One of the clearest signs of advanced intelligence is symbolic thinking, the ability to create meaning beyond survival. In Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found engraved ochre pieces over 75,000 years old, marked with deliberate geometric patterns. These weren't random scratches. They were symbols, the earliest known abstract art. At the same site, ancient humans mixed pigments in seashell containers, creating what were essentially paint kits, evidence of planning and artistic intention. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, hand stencils and animal paintings on cave walls date back more than 45,000 years, rivaling the famous cave art of Lascaux and Chauvet in France. Even older carvings, like the mysterious Venus figurines of Ice Age Europe, suggest an understanding of fertility, identity, and perhaps religion. These discoveries show that ancient humans didn't just survive, they imagined. They told stories. They believed in things unseen. They made meaning from the world around them, just as we do today. About 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, humans built something extraordinary, Göbekli Tepe, in what is now Turkey. Massive stone pillars arranged in circles, each carved with animals and abstract symbols. The site is older than Stonehenge, and the pyramids, built by hunter-gatherers who weren't supposed to have the organization or technology for such a feat. Each pillar weighs up to 20 tons, meaning hundreds of people had to plan and work together to move and raise them. It was a temple, or a gathering place, a sign of complex spiritual and social life long before agriculture or writing. Göbekli Tepe rewrote history, proving that humans had the minds of builders and visionaries long before the first cities rose. So why did we underestimate ancient humans for so long? Partly because of arrogance, the belief that intelligence always moves in a straight line, from primitive to modern. But evolution doesn't work like that. Intelligence appears in bursts, in many forms, across time and species. Neanderthals painted caves. Homo erectus mastered fire. Denisovans conquered high altitudes. Our own ancestors built temples and sailed seas before the dawn of history. Each species, each generation, added something to the story of human brilliance. When we look at ancient tools, cave art, or the ruins of forgotten temples, we're not seeing the work of simple beings. We're seeing ourselves. Different faces, different times, but the same spark, the same curiosity, creativity, and drive to shape the world. Maybe ancient humans weren't less advanced. Maybe they were advanced in different ways, ways we're only beginning to understand. Every discovery, every engraved shell, every buried fire pit, every carved stone, tells the same story. Our ancestors were not stumbling toward intelligence. They already had it. They were artists, engineers, explorers, and dreamers, long before we gave them credit. So the next time you picture an ancient human crouched beside a fire, remember this: that person wasn't a primitive creature. That was an early genius, thinking, inventing, and imagining the world that would one day become ours. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden brilliance of our ancestors, there are countless more stories still buried in the earth, waiting to remind us that the past was not simple, it was extraordinary. Ancient humans were smarter than we thought.